We're all told to chase success, right? Climb that ladder, hit your goals, get the big win. But what actually happens when we get there? Today, let's dive into this really interesting idea, the achievement paradox.
I mean, think about it. We spend years, sometimes decades, striving for something, a promotion, a degree, maybe just a certain lifestyle. And we're totally convinced that that is the thing that will finally make us feel complete. But does it? Really?
So why is the promise of achievement so powerful in the first place? Well, there's a really, really good reason we're all so drawn to it. Okay, let's be totally clear. Achieving things can feel amazing. I mean, hitting a goal gives you this incredible surge of confidence, a clear sense of purpose. Overcoming all those challenges, that's how we grow. And hey, who doesn't love getting a little pat on the back? Some external validation, of course. But we've all felt it, haven't we? The celebration ends, that feeling of euphoria starts to fade, and you realize that high was, well, temporary. And this brings us to the other side of the coin. This is what we can call the satisfaction trap. It's this sneaky cycle that can leave even the most successful people out there feeling surprisingly empty. The psychological concept behind this is something called the hedonic treadmill. The best way to think about it is like getting a brand new phone. For the first few days, you're so excited, right? But within a few weeks, it's just your phone. That's the treadmill in action. We achieve something, our happiness spikes for a bit, but then we adapt and go right back to our baseline. It's also tied to something called effective forecasting, which is just a fancy way of saying we're actually pretty bad at predicting how happy something will really make us. And boom, we're right back where we started, looking for the next thing. And that's the danger of living on that treadmill. You get stuck on this unsustainable ladder where one achievement just becomes the next rung to climb, and you never actually get to stop and just be. This almost always leads to burnout because you start neglecting other really important parts of your life, like your relationships or your health. And worst of all, when your self-worth gets all tangled up with your accomplishments, you're basically setting yourself up for a whole lot of anxiety. So if chasing one external goal after another isn't the answer, then what is? Well, the key seems to lie in why we're chasing them in the first place. It all comes down to motivation. So you've basically got two types. Over here on the left, you have intrinsic motivation. This is your internal drive, right? It's your passions, your core values, that genuine desire to learn and grow. This is the stuff that leads to real, lasting fulfillment. Then, on the right, you have extrinsic motivation. This is all about the external rewards, money, status, praise from others. Now, it's not that these things are bad, but relying only on them, well, that's what leads to that temporary satisfaction we keep talking about. And this is so crucial. The big point is this. It's not just about what you achieve, but how and why you achieve it. Was the journey itself meaningful? Did it challenge you in a way that felt authentic to who you are? Sometimes the process itself is the real reward. Okay, so we've kind of picked apart the problem. What does a more fulfilling approach actually look like? Let's get into the formula. First thing you have to understand is that there's no single magic bullet here. True, sustainable fulfillment, it's more like a puzzle made up of a whole bunch of different pieces. And achievement, it's just one of them. Think of your life kind of like this chart. Yeah, meaningful work and purpose, which includes your achievements, that's a huge slice. But look at what else is absolutely essential. Strong relationships with people you care about, your own personal growth, and just your overall well-being and sense of balance. If you neglect any of these other slices, the whole structure starts to feel pretty wobbly. So what can we actually do? Well, first, try to live authentically. Make sure your actions line up with your values. Second, put real energy into cultivating meaningful relationships. Third, and this is a big one, learn to enjoy the process, not just the final outcome. And finally, practice self-acceptance. You have to recognize that your worth as a person is not defined by your list of accomplishments. All right, let's bring this all together. This isn't about abandoning your goals or not trying to achieve great things. It's about reframing their role in our lives. If you take just one thing away today, let it be this. Achievement is an awesome, valuable piece of the puzzle. It brings joy, it helps us grow, it builds confidence, but it is not the entire picture of a fulfilling life. So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if your greatest achievement wasn't the trophy you got at the end, but the person you had to become to get there? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.